Me again. Well, we're going to try this one more time. We're going to do this till we get it right. What's up, everybody? I hope everybody's doing well. Sorry about that. We're just trying to get things squared away. We had to make a lot of changes on the site today, including, becoming your podcast.
Podcast.
So, yeah. So, we've got a good show in store for you guys tonight. We're going to talk a lot about episode 5. We're doing episode 4. They're on episode 5.
Yes.
Right. That's what's happening. All right. So, yes, that's cool. We are going out live through Facebook now. I can see it. I don't want to keep it open because that just takes resources. All right. I think we the doc looks good, right?
Yeah.
All right. So
1 second. There we go. Let me.
You know what? Let me get a bottle of water here because.
Yeah, I've got my half gallon. Pods of trekking have begun.
All right, I'm back. I'm coming.
You're back. You're back, and you're front.
Should have thought about that, but I didn't.
Well, thinking's above your pay grade anyway.
All right. Okay. All right. So things look good. All right. We're looking good, right?
Yep. Thinking is above your pay grade anyway.
Yeah. No shit. All righty. So, all right. I guess let me close out Discord. All right. I have my button ready. Got your red button?
1 second. Okay, I am ready with the button.
All right. Let's do this in 3, 2, 1. Click. Oh, wait. I do that every week. I start the music. This week on Your Father's Trek podcast, we are going to talk a little bit about the name change we had to do, as well as going through Picard Season 3, Episode 5, and just talk a little bit more about Trek and everything else going around it. Do not go away. We will be right back. Podcasting. That ancient ritual of middle-aged men seeking validation in the internet age. What you're listening to now is a new Trekcast by 2 longtime fans who have tons to say about Star Trek and the world around it. We will inform, we will entertain, because we are your father's Trekcast. Starring Will as the old man gamer and JP as, well, JP. Talking about new episodes of Star Trek, old episodes of Star Trek comic books, Star Trek video games, and anything else they feel like, because hey, it's their cast. So sit back, relax, have a beverage of choice. Unless you're driving, for God's sake, pay attention to the road. Here are Will and JP talking Trek. Well, welcome to Your Father's Trek podcast. I guess we should get the show going. Get the show going with open hailing frequency. All right. Before we get started, we want to remind you that we are a part of the Geek to Geek Media Network. This is a network of geeky podcasts and other great content dedicated to promoting positivity and inclusion, as well as showcasing some really amazing, great stuff. They have a ton of great podcasts, as well as articles, gamer stuff. It's such a great place to go. You got to check it out.
Go to geektogeekmedia.com. That is GEEKTOGEEK media.com. Check it out. Let them know we sent you. They're a great, great network, and we're glad to be a part of them. We also, we're going to bring it right up. We've had to make a name change. We are now Your Father's Trek Podcast because we have to say pod. Make sure you have to say pod. It is a podcast. Because
we are the pod people.
Yes, there is another show out there called Trekcast, which you should check out. They, obviously I'm not angry, but yeah, it's so they asked us to not use the word Trekcast, and so we're now the Trek Podcast. So make sure you always remember Trek Podcast. So
and pop those P's.
Yeah, always pop the P, but don't pee in the pop. That's totally a different thing. But yeah, so we, going forward with Your Father's Trek Podcast, and you should just check us out there. We're really glad to have it. And again, those guys are cool. I think I'm going to go and guest on their show at some point. So, that'll be neat. That'll be fun. I mean, there's plenty of room out here in the pool. So, and we're just a little rinky dinky thing. So, I kind of like being a little underground. So, but, JP, my friend, first of all, again, I'm Will, the old man gamer. JP, how are you, sir?
I am doing better than I was last week, that's for sure, but I am still stiff and sore, so I will be moving around. I will be waving my hands in the air as if there were no repercussions on the Your Father's Podcast.
Yes, Trek. Don't forget Trek.
Trek Podcast.
There's probably a Your Father's Podcast out there. So
there probably
is.
Your
Father's Trek
Podcast. Now I've really done it.
Yeah. Now we're really screwed. But no, we've got to. Same here. It's been an interesting week. I've got to go back out to an on-site, which is about an hour and a half away. So tomorrow I got to drive like 3 hours. But we came through the snowstorm last week. Remarkably okay. Monday, 2 feet dropped, and so it was a little fun. But my commute to work, it was rough. There was a laundry basket at the bottom of the stairs I had to step around. I'm pretty sure a cat
or two. Probably a cat or two.
A cat, one or two cats. I mean, so my commute is just as dangerous as somebody driving in that 2 feet of snow. But yeah, it was we got through it. I'm kind of ready for winter to be done. It is March, so, I'd really like for them to I'd like to stop. But overall,
Mother Nature needs to get back on her meds.
Yes, exactly. But, I am excited because I did, it's Marvel Snap. I did hit Infinite yesterday.
Congratulations.
Yes, I was very excited.
I am still way down there.
And I talk about this in the show a lot, but I mean, now that I'm Infinite, I'm still at 100. Like, I just keep losing games because I'm trying different fun decks now. I'm like, this is a really fun game when you're not trying to level up. Unfortunately, all I could do to level up was Shuri, and they're going to nerf that. So let's talk a little bit about the show tonight. Let's get into things because we've been going a little long. We're going to try really hard to keep this at an hour. We're going to talk mainly about Episode 5, Imposters of Picard Season 3. We'll go through a little bit of the recap. We'll talk some high points. We'll do a bird's eye view, maybe get into some weeds. After that, we're going to go ahead and then we'll have some discussion. And then in the second half of the show during Beat Me Up, we'll have speculation, which is something we're going to start doing with these shows. I feel like we can get into that a little bit now. I do kind of want to speculate on a few things because a few things came up today that I was like, holy cow. And then obviously the companion watches, things to watch. And so that's going to kind of be the show. Let's say we go ahead and go on down and see what we can find there, JP. You good?
I'm good. Let's do this.
All right, let's hit it.
Engage. No, don't engage. Energize. That's what we say in this room.
Okay, so Picard, Episode 5, Season 3, Imposters. I am very curious, sir. What did you think of this episode?
I hate to say it, but I was kind of for all the good and the holy crap moments.
Yeah,
it was kind of a meh episode overall.
It was a transition. I think that's a very fair statement to say. I think if they hadn't brought on their guest star, spoiler alert, if it wasn't for Ro Laren, this episode would have sucked.
Yes.
They did get Michelle Forbes back, and they kept it quiet. Nobody knew she was coming. Nobody knew. Nobody had any idea she was coming back.
Who would have thunk it?
I mean, when they sat there and, they show, they talk about, somebody's riding a shuttlecraft over and stuff like that, I'm sitting there going, maybe this is where we get Geordi. But no, we got something better. And the door opens, and there's Michelle Forbes in all of her glory as Ro Laren. She's got Commander Pips, so she's wearing the rank of Commander. And again, I as well was like, wait, I thought she quit Starfleet. What the hell?
Mm-hmm.
And it goes into that. And again, you're absolutely right. This episode was 100% a transition. This is obviously like the first 4 episodes was kind of like a mini movie. They had this thing going on, and now they kind of need to set the chessboard up for what I'm hoping is the last half. So, and they did, and there were upsides to this. There were some parts of this that I really enjoyed, but yeah, I can get behind that. And they're also, it's getting a little too derivative of other Trek in a way. And I know Trek has always done that, but it's getting to the point now where I'm like, okay, guys, seriously, another red door, or what is this where the Red Angel comes from?
Oh God, no, please, no.
Honestly, every time I see it, and I've seen Discovery season 2 only one time. And believe me when I say I've seen it, I would watch Discovery, I would look up and see things, but I will be honest, that was always like a background watch for me. I was like doing something else while watching it. So I understand there's a Red Angel. I understand it was Burnham, and it was this big mystery. They are setting this up like that, where there's a vision, and it's red, and we don't know what's happening. And
why do they keep choosing red, though?
I think it's Terry Matalas. Oh, by the way, I realized something. Did you know Terry Matalas actually worked on old Trek?
Yes.
I did not know that. I was like, he was a producer on Enterprise.
That's where they came up with the name Matalas Prime.
Ah.
The writers did it as a joke on him way back in the Enterprise days.
Wow.
When he was just a Lobie.
Yeah. I mean, it was great. So you're not wrong about that. Let's kind of hit some high points. We won't go beat by beat because again, it gets a little long. Obviously we already spoiled that part. Ro Laren, welcome back. Listen, I love Michelle Forbes. I have loved her in absolutely everything I've ever seen her in. I got a little hurt today when I was on a Reddit for Battlestar Galactica, and they're like, oh, look at this. Trek has another Battlestar Galactica alumni. I'm like, whoa, wait a second. Because she played Admiral Kane in Pegasus.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, wait, no, we had her first.
Battlestar has another Trek alum.
Ronald Moore brought her over because he knew what she was. I mean, she was one of his, I think he worked with her. She came in right around season 3. So she came in when he did. So that's why he wrote a lot of great stuff for her. Michelle Forbes, forget it, man. She knocked it out of the park. She had nuance. She was saying things with her eyes. Her and Picard, her and Stewart were giving almost a master's class in non-verbal aggression.
Absolutely.
And it was
aggression and everything else.
It was fantastic. So, she comes on the ship. She is on the USS Intrepid, which again I thought was a great little callback because the Intrepid was the Enterprise's sister ship in season 1 or season 2 that was destroyed by something. By that pulsar thing that gave a virus to the ship.
Wasn't it also a ship in original Trek?
Yeah,
there was just all Vulcans on board.
Something to that effect. I thought the Intrepid was also, wasn't it? Or was that Commodore Decker's ship? Was the Intrepid?
Ooh.
Well, we have to. If only there was some sort of database out there.
If only there was some way to figure out this information in 5 seconds. or less.
Oh yeah, it was crewed entirely by Vulcans. You were right. It was part of the immunity syndrome. In any event, and so they used the name again, and the Intrepid is a great naval name. It's obviously the museum in New York City. I was glad. So the Intrepid shows up. They don't tell us who's coming over, but they're, instead of beaming Picard and everybody over there, they're like, Starfleet is sending over a shuttlecraft to talk to you guys, and basically y'all in trouble. They send the shuttle over, which is unusual. They're like, why wouldn't they beam? This is off. And they're sitting there like, this is awfully wasteful. And I'm sitting there going, wait, you don't pay money.
It's like, is Dr. McCoy or Dr. Pulaski on board?
That's what I was like, I think Diana Muldaur's passed, so it's not like you're going to drop Kate Pulaski on us. But yeah, so the door opens and we see black hair. And again, I am not thinking Rolaren at all. And then it turns around and there's Michelle Forbes. And I'm like, holy. And I actually was like, yes. And she is just chewing every piece of scenery. Her and Picard is pissed at her still for quitting Starfleet, which again, if you watch that episode, different. Again, I think they're doing a little bit of like historical refixing, but she had such a great nuanced performance. I don't know if you picked up on this. Did you see how her and Frakes interacted?
Oh yeah,
because they used to have that will they won't they thing.
Absolutely.
And so there was a piece there that I think she's going to leave the room, and you have to look for it. But Frakes and her look at each other, and it's just this look of like, yeah, you still got it. All right. And I'm like, yes, you're still married to Deanna. So
yes.
But again, she just gave such a great nuanced performance. And she's there to basically find out what the hell is going on. And again, she brings up Jack Crusher. And we can kind of pop into that a little bit. Jack is still having the visions. They're more there now. The episode actually opens with him basically killing the entire bridge crew.
Yeah.
And with a phaser, he's in uniform, and he just kills everybody.
And then the one ensign looks up at him and goes, "It's you. I know what you are."
Right. And so we'll talk about that in speculation. But he wakes up. Forbes is there. Mentions Jack Crusher, and they decide and that was it too. The Intrepid was like, we're going to need to talk to Picard, Riker, and Jack Crusher. So they hide Crusher. They're going to hide Crusher on the ship, and they give him the uniform that he saw in his vision.
Yep. He hides in plain sight.
Right. In basically. A Starfleet uniform. Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting there saying to myself, at no point do you think to yourself, put him in the transport buffer? Like, I mean, there's been 1,000 different,
so many.
Yeah. I think it was an example of backward writing again. They wanted him in a uniform to shoot people, and so they have to get him into the uniform.
Right.
So getting back to Ro, her and Picard, they sit down and they face off. And again, exactly what you want to see. Forbes is going at him. Stewart's going at her. They're sitting in the conference room. And then they're going to go to the holodeck. We'll get back to that because there's stuff talked about in the holodeck that's important. Yeah. At some point early in Act 1, too, Worf and Raffi, we finally get to catch up with them. They're still doing the training thing. Worf is kicking her tail repeatedly.
You got to have a montage.
Yeah. And it's great. And then basically Worf's handler reaches out and starts, and Worf is like, we need to go to the Daystrom Institute. And she's like, access denied or something. No, you can't, basically. Yeah. And she writes back and says, do something else or go another way.
Find another way.
Yeah, find another way. And Rafi's like, wait a second. So she's not saying we're on the wrong track. She's saying we're on the right track. She's saying we can't go there. What the hell? And Worf is taking this like it's so. Worf's like, okay, we can't go there. We need another plan. And they come up with this idea to find another underworld dude on the planet they're on. Played amazingly, again, by Kirk Acevedo. He is a character actor. He is a that guy actor. You've seen him. I guarantee you've seen him in stuff. Oz, he was a character on Oz. He was a character on Arrow. I think he played... Was he Brother Blood? I think he was Brother Blood in Arrow, or something to that effect.
Maybe.
Again, you would know him if you saw him. He was on Blue Bloods. He was Danny's sister's, drug brother for a while. He's a great actor, and he's fantastic. And again, he is playing a Vulcan, and it's one of the first times I've ever seen a Vulcan literally chew every piece of scenery he's on. Like, he is just in that, and he is, it's fantastic. He basically, he recognizes, Worf and Raffi go looking for him. He knows what's up. He comes out. He has them surrounded, and Worf thinks he's got the upper hand, and the guy just grabs a phaser and shoots the mobile emitter on Raffi. He's like, "You think I wouldn't spot a mobile emitter?" Which I'm like, yay. Again, I love Voyager. He's like, "You think I wouldn't spot a mobile emitter? Come on." And basically then Raffi is sitting there with a sniper rifle like she's going to shoot him, and she gets a gun to her head. They get captured. They're surrounded. He's like, "Okay, I'm going to have you two fight. I want to see a Klingon and a human go at it." He's like, "And you know what? Klingon should kill a human within 60 seconds, or 30 seconds, so I'll give you 60. It's like, you have 60 seconds, go. Or I'll kill you both." And to his credit, Worf, I don't know if he took a dive, right?
Absolutely he did.
Right.
Why do you think they've been training all the
right?
Look for your opponent's weaknesses, and then right before they fight, I'm doing what I must do.
A sacrifice.
Win.
Yeah. So
a sacrifice must be made.
And so Raffi stabs him. He goes down. They say he's dead. I'm like, no, he's not.
He ain't dead.
No. They're gonna do this television trope, aren't they?
Yep.
Yeah, I could stop my heart. Yes, nobody can stop their heart. But they check his pulse. He's dead. He's like, "You're going to work for me now." She's like, "The hell I am." He's like, "Look, you got a husband, ex-husband here. You got a son, and you got a granddaughter. I'll kill them all. And
not if I kill you first."
Right. Not if I kill you first. And then out of nowhere, Worf comes out, and now they have him. They get him to basically give up the goods. I forget what it is he gave them, though.
He gave them the key card that he used to get into Daystrom.
Right. He's like, they're like, "How did you get into Daystrom?" He's like, "Well, it's controlled by an AI. The AI is a little," he's like,
scatterbrained?
I forget what it was. It's guarded by a flawed and illogical AI system. So he's like, he found a device that exploits its flaws, and without it, no one else can get into Daystrom undetected. And he shows the device, and we'll again talk about in speculation because I got thoughts on what the AI is. And they kind of leave that there. So, going back to the ship now again, Jack is hiding in plain sight. Beverly is. I love that Beverly is in sickbay, but there's got to be a part of Gates McFadden that's like, "Motherfuckers, how the hell do I get the hell out of here?" She's doing an autopsy on the changeling, and basically this is where Metalis wants to change the rules.
Yeah.
And, he wants very badly to change it up. So what he does is now the blood tests won't work. They are mimicking entire endocrine and systems and organs. She's like, and only through extreme, cutting does it return to the liquid goo phase. Which I
have a problem with, because even after death, it stays in the solid form.
Yeah, and that's where I'm sitting there like, okay, I get why he's doing it. I do. I understand that, this has been well-tread ground as far as there were 4 seasons of the Changelings War. And, a lot of writers had to come up with ways for the good guys to win. So there's a lot of quote-unquote vulnerabilities that you may not want in your one-off show. However, this
might have been a bridge too far.
It's just lazy writing. It's lazy writing. I so much would have preferred if they need to explain how the changelings get through all the safeguards that the ship has, and this will let them do that.
Well, I mean, I can tell you that one.
Yeah, because what happens is Picard and Ro are. So Beverly does this. She realizes what's going on, and at the same time, Ro is like giving herself the blood test, and she cuts her hand and she goes, "See, not a changeling," which again goes back to DS9. And Picard's like, "Okay, whatever," and then sure enough. Which I thought, again, a bit lazy writing, because Beverly's like, "I have a report for you, Admiral." Meanwhile, he's being interrogated. Yeah. And he's like, "Oh, we got to stop this interrogation. I just need to go over here for this plot device. So if you can stay right here, not look over my shoulder while you're interrogating me, I'm going to go over here and find the MacGuffin I need." And Beverly sends a message to him that basically says what she found out, that the blood test doesn't work. Trust no one. Changelings copying organs, blood test no longer valid, trust no one. So he's like, oh shit, this is how she got back into Starfleet. She's a changeling. Stewart changes his demeanor too. He immediately goes into this arrogant kind of like, so tell me.
He's on the attack.
Yeah. He's like, because again, the way to tell a changeling is you need to go to their memories that they don't have. And so he's asking her too. He's like, so tell me how you got back into Starfleet, because you quit. You were done. And blah, and they kind of fence back and forth. And then I forget why they're leaving. They're going to do something. And they stop at the holodeck. And she goes into the holodeck. He goes into the holodeck. And what a coincidence. It's still running 10 forward.
Oh, they left the interrogation room because they were going to go look at the changeling body.
Oh, that's right. Right. And then they stop at the holodeck. Because, COVID.
Because Ro-Laren wants to pull a phaser on Picard at that time.
So they go into the holodeck. She locks it down. It's coincidentally still set up in 10 forward, which is great that they had that set ready to go. And
how convenient.
Very convenient. At no point. Here's the thing. Honestly, you want to know what I would have loved? The bridge of D. Put it on the bridge of D on the holodeck. Be like, I have a computer run Picard program 220. And it's the bridge of the Enterprise D. And she sits in the captain's chair. That would have been so much more poignant, but be that as it may. He's okay with it because he has secrets in there. So he goes behind the counter and
Yeah, he knows exactly where to disengage the holodeck safeties.
So he goes in the back behind the bar and he disengages the holodeck safeties, which again you used to only be able to do in the Arch.
With voice command.
Yeah, with a voice command. You could also do it probably with a touchscreen, but in the Arch. But again,
30 years.
The holodeck, yeah. And again, the plot needed it. And she pulls a phaser on him. She's like, hands where I can see him. And he pulls up 2 glasses and puts one down, reaches under the bar and pulls up a phaser himself. And now they've got phasers at each other's heads. And in this moment, it's an incredible scene. She convinces him she is who she is. She tells him she has the emotion that he was looking for from her.
Right.
Of like, she's like, you let me, I let you down. You let me down. I have to stay in your precious Starfleet if I'm going to, this whole great thing. And you realize that Ro-Laren did love Picard like a dad. And again, Picard kind of let his kid down.
Exactly.
Which again is what we see Picard kind of going through here on this series. And I'm for that. First of all, good on season 3 of Picard dealing with fracking Picard. Like last year, he was a freaking extra in his show. That was the 7 Raffi, Captain Esteban, and Weird Borg Queen show. And he was just he was a secondary character.
Yeah.
This one, he is front and center. He is going on a journey of discovery, a journey of, learning how to be a parent. And the performances from those two, again, is fantastic. And they drop the guns, and basically now we find out that Ro is working for Starfleet Intelligence, to which I immediately go, oh, she's Worf's handler. Okay.
Yeah.
And she basically tells him she info dumps. And again, it is 100% an info dump. This is not nuanced in any way, shape, or form. It's strictly there to move the plot along and get Picard and us the information we need to go to the next level, which is, again, why I say this is a transition episode. She gives him the info dump, and it's words we've heard before. This is a conspiracy. It goes all the way to the top of Starfleet. We think changelings have infiltrated every aspect of every ship. There are changelings on my ship. It's why I don't trust the transporters and took a shuttle here. I don't even trust my two, security guards. Bop, bop, bop. She's like, it goes all the way up. I know I can trust you, and we need to figure this out. To which Picard's like, I think that's great. Absolute. And so now they're going to try to figure out what's happening. And basically it goes forward. She's going to transfer most of the Titan crew over to
the Intrepid. Yep.
The Intrepid. And she says to him, she's like, I am leaving you a skeleton crew of people I know you can trust. She's like, I am taking off as many people as I can. I'm leaving you a skeleton crew. You need to figure out what's going on. You need to get away, go and find out what's happening. To which Picard's like, okay. And basically we find ourselves, she's going to go back to her ship. She goes and finds her two guards. They're like, we couldn't get into the holodeck and it was locked. She's like, oh yeah, sorry. And she's like, we're leaving. They're like, well, what about Jack Crusher? Well, we can't find him. So COVID. And they get on the shuttle. And she's going to fly back to the Intrepid. She's going to try to get the Intrepid so that they can't chase her. But she even says, she's like, I don't trust anybody on my ship. She's like, I know my ship's been infiltrated. So sure enough, and to the surprise of absolutely no one.
Nobody.
She's in the shuttle. She's on the front. She's, debarked. And all of a sudden you see behind her, the two security guards are working on something. And one guy is bent over working on a device on the floor, and the other one is like standing behind her. He flips a switch, they beam out, and she's on the shuttle by herself, and takes a look and sees that what they've done is plant a bomb. Yep. So, meanwhile, by the way, Jack Crusher had been to the transporter room. He had another vision of killing somebody with the phaser. Then he had like a secondary vision of like it's like, okay, how many visions is this guy going to have? Seriously, I'm going to start drinking a shot when he has a vision. And he gets freaked out, obviously. He goes to talk to his mother. His mother and him are talking, and we'll get into that. But Rolaren then contacts the Titan. First of all, Picard and Riker go to the bridge, and they're like, look, we got to get out of here. The Intrepid cannot be trusted. There is a conspiracy in Starfleet, to which Shaw, kind of rightfully so, is like, no.
he starts listing off all of Picard and Riker's snafus, like when they crashed the saucer in Generations.
Yeah, well, I love it. He talked about the movies, and then the last episode of the series. I'm like, okay, so that's what Terry Matalas was working on. Okay. He's like, who crashed the Enterprise D on a planet? Who defied the Prime Directive and helped the Baku against Starfleet? Who
almost wiped out all of humanity with a temporal vortex
in the Deneb system.
Denovan.
Yeah. So, and again, I'm like, okay, you didn't watch any of the early seasons. Okay, Matalas, we got that. But then again, just as he's like getting kind of pissy again and be going back to Shaw, they're like, the shuttle is hailing us. We see Michelle Forbes, Ensign Rose sitting there. Oh, before she left, big thing.
Yes.
Before she left Picard to get in the shuttle, she hands him her earring. And that was a source of contention.
Yeah, because she did not have it on
right
earlier.
And he basically said, why aren't you wearing your earring? I thought it was a symbol of your religion, blah, blah, blah. And then in the bar, he's like, I always knew you wearing that was just about nothing more than being rebellious, basically. And then she hands him the earring.
Absolutely, she does. Right before she gets on the shuttle.
And so they sit there, and then she's in the shuttle. She's talking to the bridge, and she's telling the bridge crew, she's like, here's what's going on. There's a device. I think it's a bomb. He's like, turn around. She's like, there's no time. It'll detonate on your ship. I can't, there's nothing you can do to help me. I think the transporters were down or something.
Yeah, no, transporters were blocked.
Yeah.
Something in the bomb was
blocking,
inhibiting the transporters. They're like, come closer so we can break through the interference. She's like, no. And she's
like, I'm going to go towards the Intrepid's nacelle, warp nacelle.
Mm-hmm.
And she basically, her and Picard have this moment where, they say everything they needed to say. And she says to the captain, she's like, there is a conspiracy. This is legit. You have to get out of here. They're going to kill you. And she flies into the Intrepid, blows up the nacelle. R.I.P. Rolaren. And then, like the Intrepid basically is like, we're going to come at you. Meanwhile, the two changelings that were
form again.
Yep. They changed form to somebody else. They get on the ship. They find Jack Crusher, and they beam in two more changelings automatically off the Intrepid. To which I sit there and go, okay, at no point does an alarm go off? Like, you just had a sight-to-sight on a Federation starship. Yep. Like, what? Okay. So, but then Jack Crusher goes all like...
La Femme Nikita.
Yeah, like his brain shifts, and all of a sudden he is able to dispatch all four of these guys physically at first, and then shoots them all point blank range, kills all four. And he goes to sickbay with the dead changelings, and the doctor leaves, and his mother just looks at him and she goes, "You killed four changelings." And
how did you know they were were all changelings?
Right. And he's like, I don't know.
I didn't.
Yeah, I didn't. And he basically, I think he's starting to tell her, and they kind of leave it at that. That's kind of where the episode ended. For that, the only other major thing that happened was Picard and Riker are sitting and kind of memorializing Ro after they get away from the Intrepid. They go to warp.
And
they're sitting in like the conference room, and
Riker realizes that
Picard's like, why would she give me this earring?
And Riker realizes, no, it's not just an earring. There's a data chip in there.
Well, he's like, she was Starfleet intelligence. He's like, yeah, hand me that. And sure enough, it's a chip, and it's the entire investigation. And then a communication comes in from her source, and sure enough, it's Lieutenant Commander Worf.
Yep.
And we get to see these three guys interacting for the first time on screen in a long time. Again, I'm easily pleased. It was a highlight. I loved it. Seeing those guys interact, the way they talk to each other. It's obvious that they're going to they're going to link up and probably head to the Daystrom Institute now that they have the way to get in.
Yep.
And that, like I said, the episode kind of ended with Jack Crusher, he's like, not understanding what's going on. What's the mystery of Jack Crusher? So, that's kind of like the high points, to break things down. First of all, again, Geordi watch, we're in week 6. Now, he hasn't been in 5 episodes. Will he be in the next one? I don't know.
I'm calling a shot here. If he is in next episode, it's the last minute of the episode reveal.
I think you're right. I'm pretty sure. I think they know they have to get him in at some point, sooner than later. I think we're right. I think he's going to be in charge of Daystrom. In All Good Things, he was in charge of Daystrom. So I think that's going to be...
actually his wife was.
Right.
Leah.
So I think that's going to be something they're going to do. And again, they need to get LeVar Burton. I really want to see him. I don't know if he's just too busy. I don't know if he thought he was going to be on Jeopardy. I don't know why he hasn't been on yet. There's been so many times where having him would have been beneficial to the plot, but I'll let it go. Another thing, I mean, conspiracy. Again, Starfleet can't be trusted. Again, Starfleet is a problem. We saw it at the beginning of season 1 of Next Gen, or the end of season 1 of Next Gen. We saw it occasionally. It was a running storyline in the Dominion War. Every once in a while, there was a changeling or something, and Starfleet couldn't be trusted. And then it literally was the entire plot of season 1 of Picard. I don't think Bertalis knows how to write any other drama at this point.
Rehash.
And it just is constantly retreading and retreading and retreading. It's such a trope. It's such an easy trope that I don't get why they're doing it. I think there would have been a better story to tell. Just the changelings infiltrating Starfleet, sure, okay, that's interesting drama. But a conspiracy going all the way up to the upper echelons of Starfleet, well, again, and we'll talk about it in companion watches, we have seen this. I'm surprised Walker Keel didn't show up and go, "I'm not really dead, Picard. Come meet me on this planet." I mean, what about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I agree 1,000%. I think the other part is that today's secret word was denied.
Right.
Because Picard in the early tries to tout all the benefits of Starfleet to Jack before they have the scene where he puts on the uniform.
Right.
And Jack just shuts him down. Denied. Worf and Rafi want to get to Daystrom. Denied.
Right.
Everyone's denied.
It literally was. And then they had to get rid of most of the crew on the Titan because that's going to be the ship they travel in this for the rest of the season, I think. But it was. Denied seemed to be the thing. And again, I get what they're doing. I get that this episode. You had 4 incredibly great and somewhat serialized episodes that got to a good endpoint. Okay, so I understand that for you to keep the story going along, you have to kind of connect the two halves of the season, which is what this feels like. Right. Because this is the 5th episode. There are 5 more episodes to go. Okay. I understand that these episodes have to exist, that you have to do a brain dump and stuff. I guess I call into question the entire mindset, if that's, of the conspiracy thing. I think they could have told the changelings without the conspiracy angle. I would have liked to have seen them do something like that as opposed to what they did, which is just kind of, yeah. But it is what it is. I mean, what else did you think? Like, anything else stand up to you?
I mean, if you watched it with the closed captions on, I do that because I'm watching at 4 a.m. when everyone else in the house is asleep. So I have to have the volume pretty well down. And it's the female voice that talks to Jack in his visions is credited as Beverly.
Right.
Going, find me, hear me, connect us.
Right. Yeah, that's some speculation we could talk about in the next one, but I mean
absolutely.
that did come up.
We'll save that for the next section.
Yeah, in fact, let's go ahead and take a small break here. We'll go ahead and go into Beam Me Up, where we can kind of talk about this. We will be right back. No, really, we'll be right back. Right back in a moment. We will be right back. Our backs
and our fronts.
Yeah, I'm just I realized that I have to set the output on the Stream Deck. Because, again, I did a Windows update. So, yeah. All right, let's try this again. We will be right back.
When toxic culture has you down.
When you're just looking to laugh and have fun.
Kick back and enjoy watching a video game.
Or just make some new friends.
It's time to visit the Geek to Geek Media Network,
a community of podcasters, streamers, and bloggers.
Well, more of a family than a community.
All dedicated to geeking out about the things we love. Things like
video games,
Star Wars,
comics,
movies,
K-pop, Disney Plus,
Keanu
Reeves,
new,
or whatever our community decides is the next best thing.
That's right. We have a great online community on Slack and Discord where we chat about our weekly geekery with listeners and viewers.
And each other.
Yep, and each other in real time, and we can't wait for you to join us.
So come check us out at geek2geekmedia.com.
And escape toxic fandom for something much more...
Keanu?
Yes, Keanu.
Scotty, beam me up.
Okay, the beam up. All right, so during beam up, we want to talk about a little bit of speculation here. I mean, this episode did kind of start us down that road of like trying to figure some things out. I think the biggest one we have to tackle first is what, who, where is Jack Crusher? I'm going to say this here, okay, because it's obvious they're trying to lead us down the fact that Jack may not be entirely human, I guess.
Yeah, I don't see any way he can be completely human.
And I'm getting kind of pissed at that. And I'll tell you why. All right, we have already seen the Picard has a son fake out twice now. Okay?
Yep.
Like we saw it in the one episode in Birthright, and then we saw it in Generations. I'm going to take Generations as one too. Okay? We have seen, and then even the Janu episode where, Chad Allen showed up and he tried to treat him like, we have seen Picard behave almost like a father figure to many people. A few he thought was his actual son, and we find out they're not. If this is what's happening again, I'm going to call, again, lazy writing, bad form. For God's sake, Matalis, you should have watched Next Gen a little bit more because you're not treading new ground here. What about you? What are you thinking about this whole thing?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out whether I think that he is not who he says he is or Beverly is not who she says she is.
I thought about that too. Like, what if Picard and Beverly were together? Because here's the thing. I don't think Jack is I don't think he's a complete changeling, obviously.
No. No, I don't think changeling is at all in him.
I think changeling is. I think if he is not Picard's son, he is half changeling. And I think that's why they want him. Because he might be a changeling human hybrid, which leads them to... which leads them to being able to do better solid form. If Bev wasn't Bev, but Picard didn't know, then there's two questions on that one. Okay, first of all, human changeling hybrid, interesting thought. But secondarily, where the hell is Bev, and where the hell has she been for 30 years? And
that may be with the find me, hear me.
Yes,
but what does the connect us signify? That's the question for the next episode.
Beverly and the changeling. That she is Beverly and fake Beverly. Put us together so that we can be one again. Maybe they found.
Unless I'm just speculating.
Yeah, again, it's speculation
right now. Maybe he's supposed to connect them back into the Great Link.
Yeah.
Question mark.
The both of them, and then the half of him that's changeling comes out, and I don't know. It could be why. Vadic, I guess we've heard from Matalis. He said 100% Vadic's a changeling, which I'm not sure I like.
Yeah.
I kind of liked the idea that the changelings were like, we're just going to be your hand. But fine. He said, I think all the bird people are also changelings. Okay. All right. But yeah, I think the fake Beverly then,
because she in the very last scene, she kind of gave him the ominous look.
Yeah.
Like, uh-oh, is he figuring this out?
Right. So I don't think that they're going to take Picard's son away again. I really hope they're not going to do that. And here's the thing. I don't think they want to do that. Because I think if they want to make that spinoff of like the next gen, you have to have him be Picard's son. I don't think there's any way you do it without him being Picard's son. So I'm kind of okay with that. And if Beverly's not Beverly, okay. That would explain a few things. That would explain her different demeanor, being a fighter.
The more gung-ho,
yeah.
kick-ass.
I can get behind that. And again, she's been locked up for 30 years. She's going to have PTSD or something like that. It's how they keep Beverly and Picard from being together. Because they want him to stay with the Romulan chick, I'm sure. So, and he would want to be with her probably.
Yeah. Geez. I'm calling it. I'm calling my shot again right now. At some point, Romulan chick dies, gets executed.
No, I'm going to call my shot that Beverly does. Real Beverly dies in Picard's arms. I don't know though. You could be right. Because then she could sit there and say, "Oh no, because this guy is he's a hack a bit. He's a bit of a hack writer. No, she will die in Picard's arms, and she'll have Jack grab Picard's arm and be like, you two have to take care of each other now. And because again, they're gonna give Beverly the Kalar death, and Jack's Alexander.
Rehash.
It's gonna be rehash. And again, I don't mean to be negative here, folks, but you gotta know. You gotta know that this is happening. And again, I applauded them this whole first 4 episodes, but this one's kind of scaring me. It's like we got a great little next gen episode almost for the first 4 episodes, and now we get New Trek. And it's like, I don't want New Trek. Anyway, it's a very interesting thought. I think we're going to find that Jack is half changeling. I think you're right. I think they're going to have to go into, which could bring up Deep Space Nine. It could let them use the wormhole. It might bring we might see Cisco on that's how we get Cisco in a runabout.
I hope we do, because everything has pointed to Avery Brooks not wanting to do any more Trek.
Yeah, and he's kind of nuts. I'd rather see Sarah Lofton. Get Sarah Lofton out of mothballs. Like, what's he doing? Have Jake show up. I don't know.
He's actually doing a podcast.
Very good. So, but definitely, I'm not so sure. But let's talk a little bit about Daystrom, because Daystrom has come up in every episode. So it's obvious we're going to Daystrom. And Acevedo said it. He talked about it, about the AI, and that got me thinking. And I have some thoughts on what the AI is. My thinking is this. Okay, I think Geordi is the head of Daystrom. I think he was the head of the Mars colony and then took over Daystrom after Mars got blown up by the androids.
Oh, wait, no, he was actually on Titan.
Okay.
The moon.
Yeah. When they blew up Jupiter or whatever, or Mars, or whatever. But I think he's taking over Daystrom, or he's a Commodore and he has a ship stocked there. Maybe Leah Brahms is there. Either way, Geordi is there. And they talk about this AI, and they talk about the fact that it's flawed and has problems. I think the AI is going to end up being a disembodied Data/B4 hybrid from Nemesis. They said that they dismantled B4, that it didn't take, that Data's stuff didn't take, and so they dismantled him.
No. The only thing that the only point that I would make saying it's not Data is that the end of season 1, where they put Picard in the Golem body.
Right.
Data requested, please get rid of all the copies of me so that I can die.
Right. Well, he said, please get rid of the copy that's in your head or whatever it was. Yeah. I forget how he was, that were in that computer. But I think there is still the B4.
I was going to say that would be the only place it could be, in B4.
Right. And so Geordi probably took B4 to try it because Data was his best friend. I can get there from a story perspective. Geordi took control of B4. B4 didn't work. He dismantles him, but there was an episode of Trek where there was a cyberneticist who put himself into Data for a while, and then they put him in a computer, and then Moriarty. Holy shit, that's how we get... I'm right. This is happening. I'm going to lay that out there right. This is how we get Moriarty. And how we get Data, yes, that's it. Well, the AI is Data.
And they've already showed that they have the Voyager mobile emitters, so Moriarty can have one of those now too.
And they put Moriarty in a computer. So there is history here. I think, and we've seen that Moriarty is going to be a part of the show in some way. I don't think he's going to be a big part. I mean, that guy's like 900 years old. But I think what happened is that Geordi put Data, the B4 Data hybrid, let's call him B5. He puts B5 into the Daystrom computer and has it act as the AI. And so it's like keeping Data around. And, but that's why I can be distracted. And that what Acevedo was holding was his fucking emotion chip.
I was right there with you.
You put this emotion, because again, they established in the movies, which we now know Matalis watched a lot of because he mentioned the movies 3 times this episode, that the emotion chip always makes Data go sideways. So, yeah. I'm calling this shot that it's Data, and then I think what they're going to do is they dismantled Lore after the end of season 6, start of season 7 thing.
Right.
I think they'll put Lore back together, which is what I thought they should have done anyway, and dump Data into Lore, and poof, we have Data back. And I could see this. And it's shitty because it undoes what they did in season 1 of Picard. But there's another part of me that's like, I'm okay with you undoing the shit you did in season 1 of Picard. Like, you just want to see the 7 of them standing on a bridge. You really do.
Yeah.
You
do.
And so from a fan service perspective, I think that's how this is going to happen. They're going to say, we need a Data type thing. We're going to need an android for some reason. They'll invent some Duec Machina to stop the changelings. Only Data can tell if it's a changeling. He's got some weird sensor Data thing. And
that Geordi doesn't have?
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
And so I think that's what's going to happen. So I think the next episode is going to be the one where Picard's like, Worf's like, I'm a pacifist now, like stuff from the trailer. We're going to see Picard, Worf, Beverly.
Yes, we are.
And Rafi. Those 4 are going to get together. They're going to, they'll exit the Titan.
Yep, that's confirmed.
Yeah, they'll get off the Titan and ride in that other ship of Rafi's. And then they'll go to Daystrom. They'll use the, emotion chip, which I'm just going to call it the emotion chip.
Until we find out otherwise, I'm good with that.
I really think that's what it is. I think it's a motion chip. I think it was 100%. I think this
wait
has...
a minute.
Wait
a minute. Is it the emotion chip or is it the emotion regulator?
One of the two. But, Data never had a regulator. Don't forget, they put the emotion chip...
But Lore did.
Huh? Before, yes.
Lore did because he was able to control Data's what emotions he gave to Data.
Right. Well, that's because but then in Generations, Data couldn't control his emotions. And then in First Contact, he just turned them off. So, which taught us that he never really learned how to control emotions. He just learned how to control having them. I really think that that's what they're going to do. I'm all for, again, all right, pick it up. Pick this story up. I think they need to stop the red thing, or they need to explain what the fuck it is soon. I'm getting tired of it. It's a mystery for mystery's sake that does no good. I think they have to tell us who Jack Crusher is within the next 2 episodes. I'll give them next episode not to. Or they'll tell us but not tell everybody else. I think they have to tell us next episode. But in any event, that's kind of our speculation. You got anything else you want to speculate?
I speculate that it's time to move on.
All right, so let's talk about companion watches. And I noticed you didn't put any in here. I think because I nailed the 2 we needed.
Yeah, I put the exact same 2 in right before you did that. So
the companion watches are obviously, first of all, it is the second to last episode of the entire series. Preemptive Strike. It's the 23rd or 24th episode of season 7.
24th, because 24th. All Good Things was 25 and 26.
Yes. So in this episode, Ro It's where Rolaren leaves Picard. She joins the Maquis. She goes undercover with the Maquis, and they basically entice her to joining the Maquis. I think you have to see that episode to really get the nuance of this. Now, they did a great job of kind of handing you the story.
Yeah.
But you really need to see it.
You should see it for yourself. Yeah.
Absolutely.
You've got Paramount Plus. Why not?
Yeah. And then the other episode, I think you have to watch now because they dropped the word 6 times in the episode. I really think you have to go. Season 1's finale, Conspiracy. That episode is it is not adored. I'll say that. It's an example of they started something with that episode that they never finished. Now, if they do now, if they say that the bugs were a changeling, okay, you're kind of a dick. But okay. But
no, Matalas said in an interview he originally wrote this for the bugs, but there were too many things he wanted to do that the bugs couldn't be explained for.
The changelings are such a great villain. They really are. So Conspiracy Season 1, it's basically Picard uncovers with the help of a few other starship captains, uncovers a conspiracy. There were a few previous episodes in that season where we were introduced to Admiral Brand and to Commander Rennick.
Yep.
And they play a part in this episode, in Conspiracy. It's not bad. It was a pretty good season finale. But again, and disturbing as hell for a 12-year-old. I'm like,
absolutely.
What the hell is that in his chest? I mean, it's horrible. It hasn't aged well, but it's still just from a visual perspective, like pure nightmare fuel. But check it out. It's called Conspiracy. It's Season 1's season finale. It's the last time you see Riker without a beard until Insurrections. But yeah, check it out. I think you're going to like it. But oh my gosh, we're at 59 minutes. This is fantastic. We're going to actually end on time.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you've got anything else, brother, we can hit this and,
let's go for it.
All right, let's close some hailing frequencies then.
Hailing frequencies closed, sir.
All right, so as we warp out of this sector, we want to remind you that where you can find us online. First, you can download the show on most podcatchers. I have not changed the name in them yet. However, you can find us on Google, Apple, etc., or go to podcast.yourfatherstrekpodcast.com. Likewise, if you have an Apple or iTunes, please, Apple or use iTunes at all, please consider going to our page in the podcast store and leaving us a 5-star review. Nothing gets more eyes on the show than that. We really need you guys to do that. Please, if you are an Anchor and all that, those reviews are great too. But Apple Podcast is kind of still where a lot of podcasting lives. We really need those reviews. This show really does a ton to get eyes on this show if you go and do that. So the link for that, if you don't have an Apple iPhone or an iPad, there is a link you can go to and just use your computer. It's right on our podcast, our Anchor page. So again, podcast.yourfatherstrekpodcast.com.
And also you can like our YouTube channel and subscribe at youtube.com/@yourfatherstrekpodcast and follow our Facebook at facebook.com/yourfatherstrekpodcast.
No, Trekcast. I can't change the name.
Trekcast.
Can't
change
2
the name.
weeks.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're going to have to freaking live with it. All right. We have a website as well. You can check it out at www.yourfatherstrekpodcast.com. And of course, if you want some great gaming content for Marvel Snap, Minecraft, other stuff that I play, please check me out on Twitch and YouTube. Like and follow, subscribe there. It's Old Man Gamer NY, as in New York. Check it out. I've been playing a lot of Marvel Snap there. I'm probably do some streaming this weekend.
And if you'd like to write to us, you can send an email to will@yourfatherstrekpodcast.com, or you can email me at jp@yourfatherstrekpodcast.com.
All right. I think that's going to become a thing. All right, guys. That's going to do it for us this week. We will be back next time, hopefully with some cool outro music here. I already have it. I forgot to take it out. But JP and I will be back next week talking about episode 6. So for JP and myself, thank you so much for listening or watching, hanging out with us, telling your friends about the show, sharing us on social media, liking and subscribing and all that. We will see you guys next time out there. That away.
Hailing frequencies.
I hit too many buttons. Okay. All right. Stop recording, I hope.
Stop.
All right. Exporting project as an MP3. All right. Trekcast Media. Actually, that should go into the Trekcast directory.
1623.
Yeah. Season 3 episode, or this is episode 4. So. Oh, wait, is that on the H drive? Yeah, I think that's all on my H drive.
Oh, and we missed saying happy birthday to the Priceline Negotiator.
Oh, yeah, I totally forgot about that.
Oh, darn.
Yeah. Well, we'll do those on weeks where we're not. I'm just so excited we hit the 1 hour mark. I'm like, wow, we hit it. Yeah.
Yeah, I do think that we went a little too deep end for the first few episodes of in the review. So yeah. I feel like this
was a little better. We kind of just hit the high points and stuff and
gave us time to actually talk about the other stuff.
And I like this speculation. We'll keep that in there. Yeah, let's see here. Okay, I'm getting that downloaded. Yo, give me that, and we'll see how your audio file came out this time. I think it went out fine on Facebook again, so if I have to, I'll rip that audio. This is why we do streaming.
Right.
Is so that if we need to rip it, we can.
Yeah, and I did notice a couple times, just right now, I got loud again.
It's okay, though. It's not getting loud on my end, so it might be...
Okay.
Check if there's a setting in Audacity maybe that's trying to do... You don't have equalization on or anything, do you?
I don't think so.
Because you were coming through live fine. Like, you never really went up or down too high. So there might be something in how Audacity is recording.
What am I looking for in Audacity?
Equalization, maybe. Is it getting loud in your head too, like your earphones? Oh, that's weird. And your earphones are connected. Your earphones are connected to the mic, right?
To the blue, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And then, but yeah, I noticed on Audacity that it would
spike.
My voice was spiking louder in it too.
Yeah, we'll take a look. Send the file to me again, and we'll take a look. But yeah, I'm not worried about it. We'll make it work, man. It's all all of this is we want to see if we're going to get listeners and stuff. I don't want spending any ton of money until we find out whether it's worth doing. That's why I wasn't going to go at those guys. I'm like, it's just not worth it.
Right.
It's like, if you want to be that guy, okay, you can be that guy. But I was like, he came a little heavy-handed. I was like, whatevs. Oh, we're still streaming. Sorry about that if you're watching.
We are still streaming, yeah.
Hey, guess what? He came a little heavy-handed. But I told him that. I'm not saying anything I didn't say to his face. To his Discord. I didn't appreciate the fact he came into our main chat and called me out. I was like, okay, that's not cool. So. But in any event, yeah. I am going to do the podcast thing for a while because I find it funny. And it amuses me. So
I was going to say it. And we definitely need to get the Star Trek the Flamethrower into the intro too.
Well, I have to redo the intro. I wasn't recutting that intro today. So
okay.
I did as much as I could. I do kind of have a job. Like this guy kind of, so I was like, look, I'll do what I can, but so sorry.
At some point
we need Friends.
At some point we need a new intro anyway because we'll no longer be a new podcast,
right? But it's just one of those things. So yeah, I'm gonna try to figure everything out, and
You should have access to my audio file now.
All right, I'll grab it. I actually have to go on site tomorrow, but I'll still kind of, I'll try to give this a listen. I mean, it's kind of cool. Now, do you listen to the podcast at all? Like, do you do any? Feel free to audio. Okay, I was like, yeah, feel free to, I'll count it because I didn't have that with other co-hosts where they were. It's like I always listen, not because I'm a arrogant so and so, but I do that as a quality control. I'm like, I really.
Well, I do it for quality control, self critique, and hey, that's one more number of a listen.
Exactly. So
I listen to it multiple times
on
multiple platforms.
Yes. So all right, I got your file. All right, I'm gonna go and check on my mother-in-law. What's that?
Okay, are we gaining any numbers at all yet?
We're at not really, not heavily.
Not really. Fair enough.
I mean, we're not doing a lot of promotion either. I wanted to wait until we get kind of, then I might try to
settled in.
Yeah. Well, again, we've got to find out. We got to hit our stride as far as the show goes, things of that nature, and I think it'll kind of happen on its own. Them bringing us on to their podcast, like that'll move the needle a little.
Absolutely.
So, I'm kind of looking forward to that. Not that, it's nice of them to offer. I would have rather kept her name, but again,
it's what's in a name?
It's neither here nor there at this, to me, I'm like, it's not worth arguing about, if you're really going to get this in the Emmy, he got a little upset. And I'm like, hey, if you're going to get this upset, look, I am 49 years old. I have a wife and kids. This is a hobby of mine. I am not paying bills with this. So if you're going to lose your temperature, if this is going to cause you emotional distress, then I'll change the damn name, dude. But yeah, I didn't want to. I mean, we came up with this. So what are you going to do?
Yeah.
You smile and you laugh. I'll drop pod in there for a while, and that's my passive aggressive way of making a little fun of it. So like.
Well, and I joined right in.
Oh yeah, you picked right up. That's beautiful. And again, it was passive aggression. I to the audience watching, if you're still watching us, I admit it. It was passive aggression. I don't care. Because it amused me.
Are we still streaming, or did we?
Oh yeah, we're still streaming.
Stop it.
Yeah, we're still. I leave it run for a little bit. There's some cool stuff. What I do is because I do save the video and I stop the video recording. That is actually, I'm gonna start. We have a live video that goes, and that'll sit in our channel on YouTube for a couple of days, and then I will upload the edited version, and that's just the podcast that goes into the video portion of YouTube, which hopefully will generate traction. So it's all meant to, it's kind of like what we did with the old show. I really looked at Commander Craft as it was meant to enhance / bring eyes to the podcast. Because our podcast listeners were so much more numerous than people watching Commander Craft. And sometimes I think that was the difference that me and, other hosts had with that, because they felt Commander Craft was more what they wanted to do. And I'm like, no, it's always an add-on. If I had a choice between doing the podcast episode and doing Commander Craft in a given week, I was like, we need to keep the podcast going, because podcast was getting, 700, 800, 900 downloads a week, So I was like, we're get 4 or 5 eyes on Commander Craft. So I need to learn a little on how to promote our cast and stuff too, but I will do that once we know we're into this. Like, again, we're still, to me, man, we're still in the trial phase. You could very easily go, I'm out because this ain't my thing, or what have you, or we it's just not working, whatever. I don't want to throw anything at. It's bad enough I spent $20, now $40 on 2 domain names. So, I'd like to, and once we do that, then I'll look at ways to enhance advertising for the show, which usually involves some sort of money.
Right.
I don't do the shitty ways. I'm not going to go out and find people to, but I'll look at advertising. I'll look at Facebook ads. I will look at YouTube and how to better, us there.
Yeah, I'm looking all my Star Trek groups on Facebook are like, no advertising.
Yeah.
No promotion.
Yeah, because we are in Magic was one thing. This is totally different. We are in a crowded sphere. And that's why I didn't get totally pissed at the guy, because it's like, okay, you know what? You've been doing this 10 years. You do have some success. But, getting pissed that we quote unquote took his name. But on the other hand, I was like, but dude, you're telling me there's not another Trekcast out there? First of all, I was like, okay, we're moving the needle. This guy discovered us.
Yeah.
Something... I'm at least doing SEO. I'm at least trying to do search engine optimization. I'm at least, if you look up the word Trekcast right now, we do come up on the first page, along with other podcasts. And I'm not, by the way, all right, dude, I completely took the branding off, but you better fracking believe I'm keeping the SEO. I'm keeping the search engine optimization. I'm keeping Trekcast in there, and you can't stop me. So, afangu. But, yeah, it's... I get it, but that was kind of the upside. I was like, well, I guess we must be moving the needle a little bit, and especially I can understand too, like the name of our show, Your Father's Trekcast, was, if your name is Trekcast and you're appealing to, you're talking about a show that is 50 years old, Your Father's Trekcast would seem like a natural, like, kind of co-show with it. I get why he did it. But I just didn't appreciate the way he did it.
Yeah, there's a difference between having a talk and then airing publicly.
Yeah, I told him too. I was like, you know what, I'm doing this because it's the right thing to do. I mean, don't get me wrong. There was periods where my Irish temper got involved, and I was like, I will go down on this ship, and then I'm like, it's a podcast. I'm not going down on this ship. It's a stupid podcast. If it had to stop tomorrow, I'll miss it. I love broadcasting. I love this. I could be talking about this. I could be talking about computers. I could be talking about, lint rollers. Okay. I love broadcasting. I just do. I like to choose, I'm doing Trek because I know enough about it to sound somewhat interesting. But
right.
At the end of the day, I just like doing what I love this medium.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't done broadcasting in 30 years.
And yeah, so, it gets in you, man. You're going to love it. Yeah. I look forward to recording every week. So.
Yeah, I do this. I do too. I mean, why else would I get up an extra hour early on Thursday mornings and write a freaking page of notes?
I mean, listen, if you want to get back to playing Pioneer, we can talk again offline. I mean, if we have to move the show, that's why I'm making sure that the podcast goes out. The audio podcast don't go out till Monday morning. So we record on Thursday. I usually try to edit at some point over the weekend, and then I set it to drop on Monday. So if if we need to change, we can do that. So we can talk. The weekend is tough. It would have to probably be Monday or Tuesday. Yeah, but even if we change the day of the drop for the show to Wednesday, they're never going too long without an episode. So,
right.
That's kind of to building the audience, is making sure that we're getting episodes out semi-regularly. So,
absolutely. Yeah, no, I get it.
Because when summer hits, man, I expect there's going to be weeks where you and I will sit down one weekend and can a few episodes. Maybe not episodes, just segments that I can cut to an episode. Come up with topics that we can do. So that if we can't record because it's summer, I know I'm going out of town, second week in July. So yeah, we're not going to record that week. But, I can set up, if we have a couple of segments, I can put an episode together and have Anchor drop it on time.
Right.
So that's stuff we can look at. But
absolutely.
This is a little inside baseball for those of you watching, but I think we'll stop the stream now. We will catch you guys next week sometime. Again, we're probably Thursday again, I think, but we'll let you know for sure. So thanks for watching, everybody.